Okay, Year 8, you should now hopefully have had back both your exam papers, your paper 1 and paper 2, and you're going to fill in this gap analysis form showing your strengths and weaknesses. So you're just going to be typing in the yellow boxes only. So you've got a box here next to your name, so you need to put your name into that box. And then in the box for form, you obviously put your form. Then you need to make sure you're looking at paper 1. Paper 1 should have question 1 was on the topics of factors and powers. So it was something to do with writing as a product of its primes, and it had 4 parts to it, parts A to D. So there was a maximum of 4 marks available in question 1. Let's say you got 2 of the parts right, you'll fill in a 2 into there. Then you go to question 2. So let's say I got 1 mark in question 2 overall, and maybe I got 1 mark in question 3. So I've just made up some other marks for each of the questions. So question 4, I've said I got 1 mark on working with powers, and I filled in all of that up to question 15. Then you go to your paper 2 and you do exactly the same thing. Enter how many marks you got for each question, and at the bottom here it will total up your marks for each of those units. So units 1 to 7 and unit 10. So you can see then also you've got a percentage. So I can see my unit 10, I got 17% on unit 10. So that's definitely one I need to perhaps improve on. Whereas I can see my unit 6, I got 86% of the marks on unit 6. So unit 10 was a strength for me, and unit 6 was a strength for me, and unit 10 was a weakness. So on here, the topics I need to do some follow-up work on, well, that's definitely unit 10. So I'm going to put unit 10 into there. You might have more than one unit, that's not a problem. And I'm going to put unit 6 was my strength. Again, you can have more than one unit. So my unit 2, I got 67%, so I might put that perhaps as a strength, or even unit 7 as well. So once you've filled in any strengths and weaknesses unit-wise, you've got a table underneath. So on here, you need to now look at which questions you got wrong. So I can see immediately we knew my unit 10 wasn't very good. And unit 10 had different areas. So unit 10, if we look, mainly was question 15 from paper 1. And then paper 2 was on question 3, and then quite a few parts of question 8. So I might need to practice all 3 of those skills. I might need to practice inverse functions. I might need to practice straight line graphs, parallel and perpendicular, and also y equals mx plus c. Now let's say the inverse functions, maybe 15d and 8d, maybe that's where I did get my marks. So I might say no to that, but maybe the other 2 topics, my straight line graphs, parallel and perpendicular, and my y equals mx plus c, are perhaps the areas that I do need to work on. Now I talked about my strength, and if we remember we said there, I think I put unit 6 was my strength. I don't know why that's disappeared, so we'll put that back in again. So unit 6 was my strength. So maybe on unit 6 here, so unit 6 was my fractions, decimals and percentages. So maybe those topics I don't need to put any work into, so I'm going to put no. Okay, so your aim is to identify your strengths and weaknesses. Now you're going to choose 4 of those worksheets to do. You might have 6 yeses written next to these. Now you could choose to do 6, you could do 8, you could do as many as you like, but you must have a minimum of 4 topics overall that you're going to do some additional work on. If you did really well, there are 3 additional options here at the bottom. So there wasn't anything on percentages found in the original in the exam papers. So if you did do pretty well on your exams overall, you might choose to do that area as one of yours, so that you've got 4 topics that you can look at overall. So once you've filled that in with yes and no as you've gone down, you then need to choose your 4 topics as a minimum. So let's say I decide I've chosen this one, my y equals mx plus c gradient and intercept. So that was mainly question 15 and question 8 from the second paper. So in this column here, it tells you which video you need to watch to consolidate that skill. So video 56, and that's from the Dr. Frost Maths website. Okay, there'll be instructions how to get onto that if you haven't used it before. So I'm going to show you how to access video number 56 and then how to find the worksheet, which is called y equals mx plus c gradient and intercept, because you'll need to watch the video and then you'll need to do that worksheet. Okay, so we're looking for video 56. So we go on to the Dr. Frost site, okay, and it should look something like that when you've done that. And you go under resources and then videos, okay, and that should come up, and then you type the video number you need, which was video number 56, into the box in the top right hand corner. Okay, so video 56, click go, and then you can watch there the video to remind yourself of the line y equals mx plus c and what the m means and what the c means, and etc. There are some options underneath the video. Hopefully you can see there's a practice this skill, so you could perhaps have a go at that and see whether you've learnt some bits from the video, and you could even try topic test standard. I would leave the topic test advanced for now, just either the practice your skill or the topic test standard if you want to check your understanding of that video. So once you've done that, you need to complete that worksheet that we talked about. So for that, you go under questions. So in the top tab up there, click on questions, and then if you scroll down, you should see the tab called school worksheets. So click on the school worksheets, and then that page comes up, and you want to go under the folder, the shared folder. So click on the shared folder, and then make sure from here you're choosing the Year 8 end of year exam follow-up work. So you want that one. And then you'll see that's broken down into all the units. So if you were somebody who did quite well and didn't have many topics you needed to do, you would go under extension work. And those were the 3 options under there. For me, I chose that Unit 10 worksheet. So I'm going to click on the Unit 10 folder, and then the one that I chose was the y equals mx plus c gradient and intercept option. So I would choose that one, and when I've done that, I then get the worksheet up that I can then submit my answers and fill it in, and then as you go and submit it at the end. Okay.